Exciting. Post-advanced.
Yeah,
Yeah,
excited.
it's very excited. I'm going to start with any questions. And then after that, I will go through every balance and we can ask questions as we go through the balances. Yeah. So any general questions first?
Also, I just want to ask, anyone needs a Chinese translation? Uh, then I will let Rosie to use English.
Cool.
Okay, yes, cool.
Easy,
Easy, easy.
easy, easy. So down the bottom, you have the react button. There's a little heart kind of that says react. And if you need to put your hand up, if you press on that button, it says raise hand. You can either speak directly, take your audio off and just ask me direct, or you can raise your hand and I will stop and ask you what you would like to ask. So we can do it both ways. Cool. In the meantime, we just start then with the rapport balance. Then I will briefly go through it and ask at the end if there's any questions or clarifications, and then we will move to the next balance. So we do it balance by balance. Yeah. So the rapport balance was the first balance we did in the workshop. We did it in the two components, the verbal rapport and the non-verbal rapport. So the verbal rapport, we used our sheets that represented the different language representations. And we established communication. Then we get the permission and commitment before we pre-test. Then we pre-test while the partner is listening to the visual language, then listening to the auditory, then listening to the kinesthetic. We put a S for strong or a W for weak next to each response. Then we muscle test them speaking each representational language, the visual, the auditory, the kinesthetic, and we just mark S for strong and W for weak, depending on the muscle test response. So this is our pre-test and gives us the current reality of the partner. Yeah. Anything that is weak, we're going to do steps 2 and 3 for. So we're going to do the change process. Anything in the visual component, we're going to use figure of eights for the eyes. And how to do those exercises are on page 8, the whole brain movements. So we're going to do figure of eights for the eyes, for anything that was weak in the visual. 3 figure of eights one side, 3 figure of eights the other side, 3 figure of eights hands together, while they're saying or listening to the phrases. After we've done the movement, then we post-test. So we do it without the movement to make sure that it's strong, and then we go to the next component. Yeah. The next component is auditory, and we do ear rolls. Again, how to do those are on page 8. But basically, we're going to do 3 ear rolls, listening to at least 12 words or phrases, or speaking at least 12 words or phrases. Yeah. After we've completed the whole brain movement, we go to the post-test, do the post-test without the whole brain movement, then go to the next component, which is the kinesthetic component. And for the kinesthetic component, we're doing cross crawls. So we do at least 3 movements and at least 12 words and phrases. And again, once we've finished the change process, we do the post-test to make sure that it's strong. If we want to, we can do the gustatory and olfactory component. And for this component, we can use any whole brain movement we can choose. do the whole brain movement and then the post-test, and then we're finished. And then we have a little half celebration because we're halfway through the rapport balance. Yep. A little celebrate, and then we go to the non-verbal component, which is where we're balanced. So we're whole-brained with it all. So it's just between us and another person. And what we do is let them know they're going to be talking for a minute, and we're going to be building rapport with them. After about a minute, we will be muscle testing and coach them not to break the rapport, to keep the conversation going. Yeah. After they've talked for a minute, you're going to be mirroring their non-verbal language. So their posture, if their hands moving, you're mirroring. Yeah. After a minute, you're going to muscle test just with the partner. You don't need to muscle test with yourself because you will be strong. So just with the partner. If they're weak, then you're going to use the whole brain posture to help balance, for them to be whole brained with somebody building rapport with them. Yeah. If we do that, you check the crossover preference for the ankles and the hands. And this time they have their eyes open. They will still be talking for a minute. You will still be building rapport with them. After a minute, you test. If they're strong, then you go directly to the post-test. So you just, again, do the whole scenario again for a minute and test again without using the whole brain posture. Yeah. Once you finish this, then you swap roles. You will say, I'm going to talk for a minute, and this time you're going to build rapport with me. They know how to do that because they saw you doing it. So they have an idea of what to do. So you will talk for a minute. They will build rapport with you non-verbally. After a minute, you will muscle test. If they're weak, you will use the whole brain posture again for them. Check the ankles, check the wrists. They will build rapport this time while in the whole brain posture. Then after the minute, muscle test again, and then do another round without the whole brain posture. Yeah. Then it's the breaking rapport component. So this time you will coach them that they will talk for another minute, and this time you will be breaking rapport with them. Again, after a minute, you're going to be breaking rapport with your body language. So this time you need to muscle test without looking at them, because even looking at them will build a little bit of rapport. So you need to let them know that you'll touch their shoulder and muscle test without looking at them. If they're weak, use the whole brain posture. A minute doing the same thing, then without the whole brain posture. Yeah. So it's always the same to balance. Then you will talk for a minute and they will break rapport with you. So coach them that you will be talking for a minute. This time they will be breaking rapport. Again, test after a minute without looking at them. Then if they're weak, you're going to use the whole brain posture to balance them, to be whole brained, breaking rapport. Do that for a minute, test. If it's strong, then do the post test. And then this is the whole rapport balance, all in one go. So at the end of that, you can do the celebration. Any questions about the rapport balance? Yes, Kenny.
I got a question.
Yes.
Regarding the rapport balance, we got 5 different language preference. I was wonder when I doing this report with one of my friend, I was thinking I was found she have herself individual language preference. My question is, when doing this report to her, when I'm reading those standard language preference, can I also add some the my friend the individual preference into the text?
So what do you mean by her individual preference?
For example, sometimes she got some, I think it's very unique preference language, like she was always say, "Oh no, you," it's something like that, the own individual preference. And I think that on my uh, point of view, I think that was maybe it can become her individual language preference. So I was wonder if I doing those language preference, when I finish reading those preference, can I also add some she normally use the preference to do the muscle test?
It doesn't really fit into the rapport so much. So the rapport balance is more with the language, the representational systems for the language. It's more that they represent visual language or they represent auditory language. So visual is things like that represent seeing. So looking, peeking, seeing. Auditory represents sounds, what we hear. So talking, ring, bell, loud, they represent the auditory language. The kinesthetic is the doing. That represents more the kinesthetic language. So what you're talking about is more her slang. We call it in Australia slang or shortcut words. Like I will use cool or something like this, and she uses this other language. If she's not comfortable using that language, I would use something like maybe a new direction balance or a TPS. So create a goal statement or transform any stress around using that language or listening to that language. But it doesn't fall so much into the rapport balance. The rapport balance is more for the representational system. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Does it make sense?
Yes, makes sense. Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah, no, my pleasure. My pleasure. Yeah. It's easy. The rapport balance is often one that what does it really mean, because it encompasses a lot. But we can get a little bit confused about exactly what it's doing. So it's really nice to get the clarification. Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions about the rapport balance?
This is just for once for a lifetime, is it?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, it is. So basically, once you've done it the once in life, you don't need to do it again. Sometimes if we've had a trauma or a big life change, maybe we can do it again, but generally once in a lifetime. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. It can come up as a balance of choice. So sometimes you might come up with a goal statement with a partner. They might have a goal statement, I communicate easily. And all the other balances test weak at step 3B. The best balance for this goal is the new direction balance is weak. The resolution balance is weak. And then it comes up with the rapport balance. This is the subconscious way of saying, actually, this is going to be more efficient to achieve this result. So then you would do the rapport balance as it is, and then come back and post-test the original goal statement. It's happened to me maybe twice that this has happened in a session with people. So it's just their subconscious mind saying, actually, there's something that's even more effective for this goal statement. It can happen, yeah. But it would still be their first time doing the rapport balance. Yeah, yeah. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions about the rapport balance? Cool. And the beauty of recording this is that you can come back and watch the recording again as well. So You can watch it a few times really to cement it or to really make it clear for yourselves. So it's same with the people that aren't here. They can watch the recording. Yeah. So this was the first balance we did. Then the second balance we learnt was belief points with energy focusing. So this is on your page 11 and 13. Yeah, belief points with energy focusing. And we learnt that belief points are points that are on the body. So they have a physical location. Yeah. And the balance itself is on page 13. So we often use these for goal statements. Yeah, we come up with a goal statement and then we're going to use this as a balancing tool to achieve the goal of the goal statement. And we found out that belief points with energy focusing are also in the core belief balance and also in the relationship balance. But we're going to talk first about how they are just as their own balance for a goal statement. Yeah. Again, everything in the advanced material, it doesn't have to establish communication, but you will need to establish communication first. And on this sheet, it doesn't say to pre-test the goal statement, but you will need to pre-test the goal statement first. Yeah. So you would establish communication, pre-test the goal statement, then get the permission and commitment. Yeah. Then we go to step 1, and it says pre-test the belief points and statements. So we need to prioritize, and prioritizing means we're circling the navel 6 times clockwise. So we're going to circle the navel 6 times clockwise, then straight away muscle test the belief points in the standard order. So straight away go straight up to the self-worth and muscle test. And we don't say the name of the point, we just say be strong. Yeah. And then keep testing in the standard order 1 at a time until we find the first week belief point. And that first week belief point is the priority. Yeah. So this is a very efficient way of minimizing how many belief points we might need to balance for. By prioritizing, the mind-body system organizes itself so that the first week one is the most important to start with. Yeah. So as soon as we find the first week point, we test the corresponding statements, and those corresponding statements are on both page 11 and page 12. They're in bigger writing on page 12, but you can find them on both sides. Yeah. So we test the A statement and the B statement. And they can be in 4 configurations. They could be normal, strong to A, weak to B. That's how we want them to be. Or they could be reversed, weak to A, strong to B. Or they could both be strong or both be weak. Yeah. If they're anything other than strong to A, weak to B, which is how we want them to be, then we have to go to step 2. If they are in the normal order, it just could have been a quantum shift. The body has shifted it by itself. Yeah. So we just post-test the point. Yeah. But for anything other than the normal order, we're going to go to step 2. And step 2 is balancing the belief point with the energy focusing. So we read out to our partner the instructions in italics. And then as the facilitator, we use both hands, always both hands. So if it's 2 points, 1 hand on each point. If it's 1 point, both hands on the 1 point. And we have the intention of that blue teal colored energy flowing from us. So not from us, through us. Yeah, so it's not something we have to do, it's something that we allow. So we don't get exhausted. We just allow it to come through us, and the partner's point will take the energy that it needs. Yeah. And the partner will be repeating their A statement, always the A statement, always the supportive statement. Yeah. When the partner's finished, they will open their eyes. So that's how we know that they've had enough. Yeah. And then we're going to post-test the belief point in the statements, which is step 3. So we post-test the point first. If the point is strong, we know it's done. Yeah. But we still need to test the statements to make sure they're in the correct order. So if the statements are in the correct order, we can go to step 4. If the statements are still not in the correct order, we just have to wait a minute until it finishes integrating, test the statements again. When they finally go into the right order, then we can go to step 4. Step 4 is where we find out if there's another belief point to balance for. And this is just a simple muscle test. It's in italics, so in muscle test. If it's strong, it means yes, there is another belief point. If it's weak, we don't need another belief point. We post-test the goal statement and celebrate. Yeah. If there is another belief point, we just go back to step 1 and start the whole thing again. Prioritize the system, muscle test until we find the first weak belief point. Yeah. It's a beautiful dance. I really like this balance. It's dancing. Yeah. Yeah. Any questions? Yeah. Any questions about belief points with energy focusing?
I represent someone who is not in this video,
Yeah.
in this Zoom, to ask. For some belief points, we have both sides. For if we are facilitating for someone, we only have one hand. So if like the transformation, if we test one side is either strong or weak, do we need to test another side?
Yes. Yes, we do. And sometimes you can have one side that's strong and one side is weak. It can happen. But when it comes to focusing the energy, we still focus energy to both sides.
Yes.
Even if one side was strong and one side was weak. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, pleasure. It can happen. Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Thank you. Good to get the clarification. Yeah.
So for example, these two sides, we use hand like this.
Yes. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, nice. It says in the material, it says 2.5 centimeters off the body. So around this much off. You don't want to be touching. If somebody, especially around some of the points, are a little bit too intimate, you don't really want to be touching. So you want to be just off the body. Yeah. Otherwise, people might might not like you touching them. Yeah. 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 If I'm working with a good friend, often we just touch the points. But if it's a partner that I don't know very well, I'm off the body. Yeah, just a little bit off the body. Yeah. Cool. Then we did surrogation. Then we learned surrogation. Day 2 is a big day in the advanced workshop. Yeah. So we learned surrogation, and that's a very simple but very profound protocol where we just use the double permission statements. And we verify that we've established surrogation by post-testing the names. So testing that my name is now weak to my name and strong to who I'm surrogating for. So surrogation is quite simple to establish, but it's a very sacred thing to be able to do. So we always enter it with integrity and honouring that we're really doing the best and the highest good for the person that we are in surrogation on behalf of. Yeah. So this is what we learnt on day 2. Any questions about surrogation? Have you used it? Have you been using it since the workshop? Yeah, good. Good. Cool. Then we go to the big one, the core belief balance. The biggest balance you will learn in PSYCH-K. Yeah. I love the worksheet for the core belief balance. The worksheet is so good. And if you fill out the worksheet as you go. It becomes much easier. So we'll have the worksheet next to us while we're going through it. So again, you're going to establish communication before we start and get permission and commitment. Generally, this is once in a lifetime. So generally, it's not for a goal statement. And it still can be for a goal statement. If it's for a goal statement, then you pre-test the goal statement before the permission and commitment. If you're using it in surrogation on behalf of somebody else, establish the surrogation before getting permission and commitment. So that all happens before permission and commitment. Yeah. Then we get the permission and commitment and we go to step 1. Step 1 is super easy. You can do it off the worksheet. You're just pre-testing every statement on the worksheet, one by one, with meaning and conviction. And the partner needs to be saying it out loud with meaning. The posture is always eyes open, focus down. So the facilitator's job is really to make sure that the partner has the right posture and that they're saying it with meaning every time. You just put an S for strong and a W for weak in the pre-column on the worksheet. And that's step 1. Yeah. If it's reversed, so if it's weak for A and strong for B, you can put an R next to the number on the left-hand side of the worksheet. If it's double strong, so if it's strong for A, strong for B, you can put an S next to the number on the worksheet on the left-hand side. And if it's weak for A and weak for B, you can put a W on the left-hand side of the worksheet next to the number. And this will come in handy in step 2A if you do that. Any questions about step 1 before we go to step 2? It's all good? Yeah, so that step 1's pretty easy. Step 2 is where we balance or do the change process. So we're going to balance the core belief pairs. And it's made up of 5 parts, A, B, C, D, E, and we just do one at a time. So if you just take it one at a time, it's a lot easier than trying to think of it all. So A is where we identify the priority core belief to balance. So this is, again, if we can find the priority, so even if 7 were not in the right order, if we can find the priority one, often it will take all of them out. So this is why we muscle test for the priority. And often the priority is one pair that's reversed because it's totally going in the wrong direction. Yeah. If it's strong and strong, at least we've got the affirming statement strong, so it's not as powerful. Yeah. In reverse. So we check for the reversed first. Yeah. If we don't have any that are reversed, then we test for the ones that were double strong first. The first one that tests strong, we know we've found it because the statement is the priority for balancing is number. So if we get a strong response for that, it means yes. So as soon as we get the strong muscle test response, we know that we've found the priority. And we can put a number 1 in the priority column on the worksheet next to the pair that was the priority. Yeah. We put a number 1 there because sometimes we need a second priority. It can happen. So if we put a number 1, it helps us later on know which was the first one. Step 2B, we balance the priority core belief by balancing a belief point with energy focusing, but only steps 1 to 3. So we take out our belief points with energy focusing sheets, page 11 and 13. Yep. And we just start at step 1. So the energy focusing on page 13, step 1 says prioritize and pre-test to find the first weak belief point. So this time we're going to circle the navel 6 times, then straight away muscle test in the standard order the belief points until we find the first weak belief point. As soon as we've found the weak point, we stop, we've found it, and we can put the name of that belief point on our worksheet next to the priority number 1. So we just put the name of the belief point. Then we test the corresponding statements of the belief point, and they're found on page 11 or page 12. So we do the A and the B statements, just to see if they're strong, weak, or any other. If they're anything other than in the right order, we're going to go to step 2 of the energy focusing sheet on page 13, read out the instructions to our partner and focus the energy to those belief points. While the partner says the statement 3 times out loud, 3 times silently. When they open their eyes, we know it's done. We're going to post-test the point. So then that's step 3 of the energy focusing. So we post-test the point. If it's strong, we don't need to do any more energy focusing. It's done. But we need to post-test the statements to make sure it's finished integrating. So we test the A and B statements to make sure that it's now strong for A, weak for B. If it is, we're done, because in the core belief balance, we only use the belief points steps 1 to 3. Yeah. So we've done our steps 1, 2, and 3 of the energy focusing. So we go back to our core belief balance sheet, and we've done step 2B. Any questions about step 2B? Okay. Then we go to step 2C. So step 2C is we come back to our worksheet and we post-test the priority core belief pair. So this is the pair that we put a number 1 next to on our worksheet. We check that pair, the A and the B statements. So this will let us know whether they've shifted into the right order or not. If they've shifted into the right order, then we've done that. That's perfect. We go to step 2D. If they haven't shifted in the right order, if they're still not in the correct order, we need to go back to step 2B and find another belief point. Sometimes it takes more than 1 belief point to shift the priority core belief pair. Yeah, so this is what step 2C is letting us know. If it's shifted into the right order, then we can fill out the post column on the worksheet and just put a strong and a weak for the A and B statements of that priority core belief pair. Step 2D. Is there any questions about step 2C before we move? Yeah, cool. Then we go to step 2D. Typically, balancing the priority core belief pair balances any that were not in the right order. And to determine that, we just use a very simple muscle test, which is this process is complete. So we just muscle test that statement. If we get strong, it means that's exactly what's happened. That one priority core belief pair has balanced all of them. Yeah, we don't need to look for another priority core belief pair. If it's weak, we need to go back to step 2A and find the second priority core belief pair. But if it's strong, then we continue to step 2E. Everybody okay with that step? Yeah. So step 2E is really post-testing any pairs that pre-tested in the wrong order. So anything that was reversed or strong, strong, or weak, weak, we're going to post-test and then fill out the post column. Yeah. Sometimes you'll find that they haven't shifted. That's okay. Just keep checking any other pairs and come back and test that pair again. It's taken me as long as 5 minutes for a pair to finally shift. You don't need to do anything else. You've just got to wait. The system is just simply integrating. Yeah. Sometimes have a little bit of water, a bit of a chat, Maybe sit in the whole brain posture for a little while to help it integrate more quickly. But you can't hurry it along. You just have to just accept that it's happening and wait for it to change. Once it's changed, then we can go to step 3, which is on page 16. And this is the ecology check. So this is the purpose of this step is to make sure that we can integrate the changes as easily and simply as possible. So we're removing any resistance of externalizing the change or internalizing the change. Yeah. So we invite the light body in for this step. So we stand at our partner's feet, hold their ankles ready, read out the words in italics. When they nod their head, we pull their heels together for 3 seconds and then put them apart. And we let our partner know not to touch their heels for the rest of this step, just the ecology step. Yeah. So this is step 3A and B. Everybody okay with that part of the ecology check? Cool. Then we go to the externalizing, and it tells us here to record each muscle test on the worksheet as we go. And if we do that, it's really beneficial. It's really helpful because we know where we're up to. We won't lose our way. It's really nice as a record for ourselves to know where we're up to if we do that. Yeah. First, we're going to muscle test the arms as a unit with the eyes open, focused down, and the results should be strong. So we test both of the arms. And if either or both of the arms are weak, then we need to read out the body symbology on page 18. So the body symbology on page 18, we have something for the arms, the legs, the left side of the body, the right side of the body, and the head. So if the left arm had been weak, we would read out the left side of the body and the arms. And once we've read the body symbology, we come back to page 16, and it says we need to reconcile all resistance by balancing belief points with energy focusing steps 1 to 3. So again, we would take our page 11 and 13 and only steps 1 to 3. So we would circle the navel, find the first weak belief point, test the corresponding statements. If they're not in the right order, focus the energy. When the partner opens their eyes, post-test the point. If the point is strong, it's done, post-test the statements. Only the steps 1 to 3, then we come back to our sheet. Yeah. And we know where we're up to because we haven't circled. The one that we haven't circled is the one that we need to post-test. So if we've circled the right arm, we know that we've got to post-test the left arm. Yeah. So then we come back to the area that we haven't circled and we post-test that arm. If it's strong, great, we get to move to the legs. If it's still weak, we need to find another belief point. Yeah. So once the arms are both strong, then we go to the legs. We test both legs together, so one at a time. If either of the legs are weak or both legs are weak, we read out the body symbology for the legs and the side of the body that was weak. Then we do belief points with energy focusing, just the steps 1 to 3. Circle the navel, find the first weak belief point. Test the statements. Focus the energy, post-test the point and the statements. Come back to our worksheet. We know which leg we need to post-test because it's the one that wasn't circled. Post-test to make sure they're strong. If they're strong, then we go to the head. So we do it in those components, arms, legs, then the head. Yeah. We post-test the head. If it's strong, we just circle and continue to internalizing. If it's weak, we read out the body symbology for the head and then use belief points with energy focusing, steps 1 to 3, and then post-test the head. Once we've done the externalizing, then we go to the internalizing, which is exactly the same, but this time we have the eyes closed during the muscle tests, and we want the muscle test responses to be weak. So this time, if they're strong, we need to balance them. Yeah. If they're weak, we circle them. Yeah. But the balancing is exactly the same. We read out the body symbology for anything that was strong, and then we do the belief points with energy focusing, and then we post-test to make sure they're now strong. We do the arms first, then we do the legs, then we do the head. And if we circle as we go, we know what we need to post-test. Yeah. So it's a long step, but it's fairly simple because it's the same every time. But the first time we do it, it can feel clunky because there's a lot. Yeah. Any questions about the ecology check? Cool. The last step, or the second last step, is the integration activity. And it's interesting because even if we didn't do this step, the balance would still work. Yeah. So this is just to help integrate it more efficiently, because sometimes it might take 6 months to integrate. But by doing the integration activity, we can pull that down to days instead. Yeah. So the first is all done by muscle testing. So we just muscle test to see if it's needed first. Sometimes it's not even needed. If it's not needed, you've finished and you can celebrate. Yeah. If it is needed, we need to muscle test for how many times a day. And this is just with that muscle test. It says for more than 1 time per day. So as soon as you get a weak response, you know it's that many times a day because it's not for more than. So if you muscle test, the integration activity needs to be done for more than 1 time per day and you get weak, you know it's 1 time per day. Yeah. If it's strong, you need to keep going for more than 2 times a day, for more than 3 times a day. But as soon as you get the weak muscle test response, you know it's that many times a day. Yeah. And you can fill that in on the sheet. And we do exactly the same for how many days. So it's going to be so many times a day for so many days. The integration activity is saying the A statement of the number 1 priority core belief pair, just the A statement. So the A statement off your worksheet, followed by the A statement of the belief point that was used to balance that. So you have to then find the A statement on the page 11 for the belief point. And you're going to be saying the core belief A statement followed by the belief point A statement. And you're going to rotate them. So you're saying one after the other, one after the other, one after the other. And you're going to be saying it 3 times out loud and then 3 times silently to the light body. So the partner is going to be imagining their light body and they're going to be doing this 3 times out loud, 3 times silently as one integration activity. If they need 5 a day integration activities, they can do them at the same time, one after each other. They can say it 3 times out loud, 3 times silently, then 3 times out loud, 3 times silently. So you can do it all at the same time of the day. Yeah. Any questions about the integration activity? Yeah. So then we celebrate. Yay! And then the next balance we did was the relationship balance. The relationship balance can be done with yourself and a partner. So you would be facilitating with somebody else. And in this way, you would facilitate, maybe they're helping you do a relationship balance, which means they're in surrogation for somebody that you want to do a relationship balance with. Or maybe you're in surrogation for somebody that they would like to do a relationship balance with. Either way, there's generally surrogation involved. Yeah. Or you could be doing it with 2 other people. You could be facilitating 2 people to do a relationship balance, as we learned in the workshop as well. Yeah. Most commonly, I find that it's me and 1 other person, that I'm doing it for somebody else in a session. Yeah. Or a friend is helping me do a relationship balance by being my surrogate. Yeah. So you need to establish the surrogation, the communication and surrogation before we get permission and commitment. So establish the communication and surrogation and then get permission and commitment for both partners. Yeah. Everybody okay with that setup? Then we go to step 1 is a deep gaze. So the biggest thing to remember with this is that you don't want to break the gaze. So both partners have to be engaged. So if you're one of the partners, you need to do the best you can without reading the sheet, because you need to be looking into the partner's eyes. Yeah. So just do the best you can, at least 30 seconds. So you want it to go for at least 30 seconds. Then you can muscle test yourself if you're one of the partners while you're still looking, and then you can test the other partner while you're still looking. So you could test both partners and then you can break the gaze. If either partner tests weak or both partners test weak, we continue with the balance. If both partners test strong, it means they're in an existing whole brain state with each other and we can just celebrate. Yeah. Doesn't mean it has to be a perfect relationship, but they're whole-brained. Yeah. Everybody okay with step 1? Then we go to step 2, discovery and change process. Yes, Angie.
If I surrogate someone to another partner, when I look at her, when I gaze it, how can I read? So I need to read it without the paper.
Yeah, you need to just do the best you can. I say things like looking into each other's eyes, looking really deeply, really, really deeply. Just do the best you can.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be, you don't have to get all those words correct. Just the more important thing is to keep the gaze going for the 30 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah. It's, you can't do both. It's impossible. So the more important thing is the deep gaze. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So discovery and change process. We do, again, we've got 4 parts to this, A, B, C, D. A. So we're just going to do it step by step. A, while the partners look at each other, this is not the deep gaze. So you can step back from each other. You're just looking at each other. Yeah. You're going to muscle test all the belief points with the partners who tested weak. So you're going to have your page 11 for this. And you're just going to, and the worksheet and your relationship balance worksheet. And you've got an A column and a B column on the worksheet. So you'll have an A partner and a B partner. So just start with the A partner, just if they were weak, just check belief points one by one. You're not prioritizing, so you're not circling the navel for this part. You want to find every belief point that's weak while they're looking at the partner. And you're going to put an S for strong and a W for weak in the belief points, in the column, in the pre-column, next to the belief points. Then you do the same for partner B if they also tested weak. If one partner tested strong, you don't need to test them for the belief points, just the partner that tested weak. Yeah. But if both partners tested weak, you do it for both partners. And that is step 2A. Yeah. Step 2B is communicate the growth opportunities and gifts that the partners bring to each other. So to do this, you just read out the statements, the A statements on the worksheet. next to the belief points that tested weak. So you just need to say, so maybe self-worth and contentment were weak for a partner. You would just read out the statements for self-worth and contentment. You say the growth opportunities are, I'm worthy of the best that love and life have to offer, and I'm content and blessed to be me. So you just read it straight from the worksheet. Yeah. Cool. So this is step 2B. Everybody okay with this step 2? Step 2C is a little bit more involved. It's got 3 parts to it. You're going to balance the belief points that tested weak using a surrogate belief point. So there's only ever one surrogate belief point. Yeah. And partners need to step out of each other's visual field for this. So if you are one of the partners and you tested weak, you can just turn your back on the other partner to step out of their visual field. Yeah. Then you would identify the surrogate belief point. So this time we do prioritize and test in the standard order. So prioritize means circle the navel. So we're going to circle the navel 6 times, then test in the standard order to find the first weak belief point. The first point to test weak is the surrogate. Yeah, and there's only ever one surrogate. It could be any of the 12. It could even be one of the points that tested strong before. So it could be any of the 12 points. Then we pre-test the corresponding statements, the A and B statement for the belief point. And we can put the point on the worksheet. Then, step 2C2, we balance the point using energy focusing, step 2 only on page 13. So we're going to focus the energy to the belief point. If it's on us, we have to focus it to us. While saying the affirming statement 3 times out loud, 3 times silently, until we sense the change, then open the eyes. Then we post-test the surrogate belief point and its corresponding statements. Yeah, so it's all written there on step 2C, 2C2. Then if the other partner was weak, so if both partners are weak, we do step 2C 1 and 2 for one partner, and then we do the step 2C 1 and 2 for the other partner. If only one partner tested weak, we only need to do it for that partner. Then we can go to step 2D. Is everybody okay with step 2C? Mavis.
Hi, Rosie.
Hi. Hello.
I have 2 questions regarding the relationship balance that I have done to my friend. She recently lost her father, so it's a big trauma for her. She kind of depression. And then I offer her the relationship balance. So first, when I established muscle test with her, she said she don't want to use muscle test by because she always feel herself intentionally control the result. So then I asked her what kind of muscle test result she want to do. Then I show you.
Yeah.
She like this. If yes, front, and then if it's weak, and then it's backward. And then I think it's okay. We follow her decision. Okay. And then when we process the relationship balance, we keep because she have 9 weak belief point, because it's a big trauma, right? And then when I follow the step 2C II,
Yes.
and then it cannot be strong. I don't know why. Even I use a surrogate to already find a surrogate belief point, and then after done the 2CI, and I protest the belief point and still weak. And then we looping the step 2 like 5 times to
So
get all.
so you find the surrogate belief point, yeah?
Yes,
And then you post-test the point.
yes.
Is the point strong when you post-test the point?
I protest the point, surrogate belief point is strong, but
The
when,
statements are not in the right order.
yeah, not in right order, and we need to protest all the weak one, right? To be
But you
strong.
need them in the right order first. Are they in the
Yes,
right order? They're in the right order, the A and B statement of the surrogate?
yes,
So then you go to step 2D, and
yes,
this is where you can't get it done.
yes,
It's not happening.
yes. Because she has 9 weak
Yeah.
belief, right? And I don't know why, but she keep it's all weak, still weak.
Yeah. I would drink some water, sit in the whole brain posture, talk for a little while. It's just integrating. Because when we've done step 2C, it's done, but it means it hasn't integrated into the system. So we have to wait until we're getting all of those done before we can go to the bonding. We need to have these all strong. Does it make sense? So the nine belief points that were weak,
Yes,
they need to be strong before we go to the bonding process. And this is
yes,
the area where it was not happening for you. It was
yes.
they were still weak. I would drink some water. I would let her lie down or sit down in the whole brain posture for a little while to help it integrate. Yeah, and it can maybe sometimes take 10 minutes, especially if it's been if there's a lot of shifting internally, it can take some time. So just relax. You're not doing anything wrong.
Okay.
It's just taking time to integrate. Yeah.
Oh, so I don't need to find the second surrogate belief point, right?
Never. Only ever one. Only ever one.
Okay, okay, I get it. So
Yeah.
because I thought, is it because she using her own
Muscle testing.
test? Yeah. Do you think that one is okay?
It could be that she's also consciously, I think it's still okay because the human pendulum is the muscle testing that she's using, and it's pretty reliable, especially if she's been using it for a while and she's aware of it. I would have done the same as you. I would have honored her what she wanted. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I would encourage at some point to balance or to do some work around being comfortable having somebody muscle test with her. So maybe, but later, not right now when she's in this space, but when she's more calm and open and receptive to that, maybe say, let's maybe do some balancing around the muscle testing so that we can use the muscle testing with each other. But it's an invitation, but I always go with my partner too. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. It can happen. It can happen. Yeah. Yeah, could. So this is step 2D. We're going to post-test all of the belief points that tested weak to confirm the strong responses. There's only ever one surrogate, but it can take time for those to become strong. You just have to wait. As I said, maybe drink some water, maybe sit in the whole brain posture if they're taking a while to shift. Yeah. Cool. Once they've all shifted and you have post-tested them all to be strong, then we go to step 3 and do the bonding process. And the bonding process is an individual and a mutual. So step 3 is the individual, step 4 is the mutual. Step 3, we're going to determine the 2, and there's always 2, bonding statements that are used in both steps 3 and 4. They're generally short and meaningful, and the partner that tested weak gets to choose what they want to hear the other partner say. So if both partners pre-tested weak, they both get to choose what they want to hear from the other partner. If only one partner tested weak, they get to choose what they want to hear from the other partner, and they also get to choose what they want to say to the other partner. So they get to choose both statements. Yeah, and we fill those statements in on the worksheet. We muscle test to make sure that they're the correct statements. So we muscle test, this is the best statement to hear, or this is the best statement to say. So we always make sure that they're the correct statements. And that's all of that step 3A. That's all about determining the bonding statements. Everybody okay with the step 3A? Yeah. Then we go to step 3B. The partners will be facing each other, and you need to determine who's going to be the receiving partner and who's going to say the statement first, who's going to receive the statement first. You just ask consciously who wants to go first, and somebody will put their hand up, and they will be the delivering partner. So you say to the receiving partner, the other partner, the words in italics in step 3BI, stay receptive. And you say the words in italics to the delivering partner in step 3B2. Repeat the statement to your partner with meaning and loving intention. You will need to demonstrate the figure of eights for the eyes if the partners have not done it before. If you are one of the partners, I would always be the delivering partner first so that I can show them what the figure of eights are, so that they can see it first before it's their turn. Yeah. There's the three components, visual, auditory, kinesthetic. So you'll be saying, using either hand, focus on your partner's face. This is for one round, at least 3 figure of eights. And they will be saying the statement while focusing on the partner's face. Then, when you sense that they've changed, say, using the other hand, tune into the sound of the statement. Yeah. And again, another 3 figure of eights. Then the kinesthetic component with both hands together. Get in touch with the place in your body where you feel the presence of your partner. And again, 3 figure of eights. Once one partner has finished the 3 components, we swap roles. So the delivering partner becomes the receiving partner becomes the delivering partner. And then we just go back to the beginning to step 3B1, say to the receiving partner, stay receptive, say to the delivering partner, repeat the statement to your partner with meaning and loving intention. And again, the 3 components, the visual, the auditory, and the kinesthetic. So that's the individual bonding process. Once we're finished with the individual bonding process, we go to the mutual bonding process. This time, the partners are holding their hands together. I can't do it the right way up, but they will be doing it with their thumbs up. Yep. And the delivering partner will say their statement first, the receiving partner will say their statement second. So whoever was delivering first starts off again, their statement, the receiving partner second. So one after the other, they're saying their statements consecutively. Yep. At least 3 figure of eights, focusing on the partner's face, then swapping hands, and at least another 3 figure of eights, this time tuning into the sound of the partner's statement. Then both hands together with each other, using both hands, one pair on top of the other, getting back in touch with the place in the body where we feel the presence of the partner, and at least another 3 figure of eights. Once we're finished all of that bonding process, we go back to step 1 for a post-test. So we go back to the deep gaze in step 1. So we have the partners close together again, looking deeply into each other's eyes. say the best way you can to stay looking into each other's eyes. After the 30 seconds, muscle test the partners that tested weak. So if both partners tested weak, post-test both partners. If only one partner tested weak, just post-test that partner. And then you can celebrate. Yep. Have people done the relationship balance since the workshop? Have you practiced with the relationship balance at all? Yeah, wonderful.
Hi, Rosie.
Yeah, hello.
I think it's very clear to explain about relationship balance with doing two people together, but I'm kind of messed up with doing by ourselves.
We can't do it with ourselves except in the mirror. Yeah, so we can do it with ourselves in the mirror, but only then the relationship balance is between us and us-off. So our physical body or our perception of ourselves. Does that make sense?
What if, because I remember that you said do it with a naked body and also do it with dress up. Yeah. So it's also facing to the mirror and then do all the balance. How about the action? What's it called? Let me see. Individual bonding process. This part.
Perfect. So this, yes. So if we're in the front of the mirror, then we do the deep gaze, and we only have ourselves to muscle test. So we just look at ourselves for the 30 seconds muscle test. Then we test our own belief points while we're looking at ourselves in the mirror and fill in the sheet for anything that's strong and weak. So this is step 2. Then we can communicate the growth opportunities. Step 2B, we can communicate those with ourselves easily. Then we balance the belief points that tested weak by using a surrogate belief point, but we need to not face ourselves for this. So we turn our back on the mirror. We circle the navel 6 times, find the first weak belief point, focus the energy, post-test the point and the statements. Then we can come back to the mirror, step 2D, and we post-test any of the belief points that were weak before to make sure they're now all strong. Then we go to the bonding process on page 21. And for this step, there's only ever one statement because we're saying it and hearing it at the same time to ourselves. So it's what we want to say and hear to ourselves. So we come up with our statement. We still test. This is the best statement to hear. Then it's only ever a mutual bonding process because when we put our hand out, the mirror also puts the hand out. Yeah. So we can't stop the mirror from copying us. So we're going to be doing it together. And when we're in the mirror, you'll find that it is a mutual bonding process. So it's only ever the mutual. We do one, the visual, focusing on our face. We do the second one, auditory, tuning into the sound when we're saying it. And we do the third, just getting in touch with the place in our body where we're feeling it the most. And then we post-test for the whole brain state. So we only ever do the mutual bonding process in the relationship balance with ourselves in the mirror. Yeah. Was that helpful? Did it answer the question?
Yes, I got it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, just to get the clarity. Yeah, cool. And as I said, I think we said in the workshop, but it's nice to repeat it, that relationship balances don't last forever because relationships change and evolve. So just because we've done one relationship balance with ourselves, it's good to check in every now and again. Are we still whole-brained when we look at ourselves in relationship to ourselves? And same with other people. I've done many relationship balances with my kids, with my mom. So the relationships change and evolve. Yeah. So they're not a once in a lifetime. Yeah. So after all of that, we celebrate. So that's the relationship balance. Any other questions about the relationship balance? The last balance, or the second last balance we did, was the life bonding balance. And this is a pretty simple balance to facilitate. Again, we establish communication, then get permission and commitment. And we activate the thymus center in step 1. We always muscle test that the process is complete after every step. If it's not complete, we just redo that step. Yeah. Step 2, we activate the hara point and we check that it's complete. Step 3, we establish the breathing pattern between the thymus center and the hara point. So when they're breathing into the thymus, we say energize. When they're breathing into the hara or releasing to the hara, we say release. And this is just helping create rapport so that if we need to guide them back to the breathing process, we can, if they get agitated during the balance. Yeah. So this is step 3, where we create that breathing connection or establishing the connection. Again, we check that the process is complete before going to step 4. Step 4 is identifying and accessing the moment of conception in this life and going all the way through the birth process. So we just read the words out to our partner. When they open their eyes, we check that the process is complete. If it is, we go to step 5, identify and access the time frame from birth to present. We read out the words. When they open their eyes, we muscle test to check that the process is complete. If it's not, we just repeat that step. Step 6 is the best case death experience. We read out the words. At the end, when they open their eyes, we muscle test this process is complete. Step 7 is the worst case death experience. We read out the words. When they open their eyes, we muscle test that the process is complete. Step 8 is to really make sure that our partner is oriented in this time and place, because they've done a lot of shifting with their eyes closed and they might feel a little bit ungrounded and not quite present. So we're going to muscle test the statement, I know who I am as I co-create my reality moment by moment. If it's weak, we might balance for that using a new direction balance or a resolution balance. Yeah. If it's strong, we don't need to do that. We go to step 8B and muscle test this balance is complete. And then we get to celebrate. If we do need to balance that statement, then we balance that statement until it's strong. Then we go to step 8B and test that this balance is complete. And then celebrate. That's the life bonding balance. And that is generally a once in a lifetime also. It can come up as a balance of choice for a goal statement. Not very often. Then we learnt the surprise balance on page 4, on day 4. Yeah, we learnt that, and it's not written anywhere. It's we just teach it on day 4. Yeah, where you create the name and the ritual for change, and that you always make sure you're going to get commitment. And if you do get commitment, you know that it's going to work. So it still follows all the 7 steps, or the 6 steps of a balance process. Yeah. Has anybody been using their personalised balance since the workshop? Not so much? Yeah. Cool. It seems crazy that we can talk it all through in 3/4 of an hour, and it takes us 4 days to learn it. Yeah? Hindsight is lovely. When we've learned something and then we're recapping it, it seems so much more simple. But it's a big 4 days. So I highly recommend still practicing the bigger balances, yeah, so that you get more fluent with them. Yeah, practice just makes it easier. You know, you become more fluent, like anything, like learning to drive. The more we practice, the simpler it is. The more automatic it becomes. So some of these are bigger balances and you've got to keep reading the sheets and finding where you are so it can seem bigger. Yeah. Any other? Yes. And yeah.
About the ritual balance, do I need the permission again to say that
Always. We always get permission. For any balance, we get permission. Yeah.
I forgot the name of the ritual.
But not for the name, no. But what you would do for the name is you would establish communication with yourself. Then you would pre-test the goal statement, whatever the goal statement is.
Yeah.
Then you get permission for the goal statement. Yeah. So the permission that we get is for the goal statement. Then the commitment is for the choice of balance. So before we get commitment, we need to know what we're getting commitment for. So this is where we decide what balance we're going to use. Once we've decided what balance, then we put the best balance for this goal is. So it's more that we need to get commitment for the choice of balance. The permission is for the goal statement. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Really good to get the clarification. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, pleasure. Cool. Well done, everybody. I'm going to turn the recording off so then I can